Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. I am sure some of you may have seen video circulating around about what President Stephen Miller said about 100 million people. He said that left for him, he wants only 100 million people in United States, and there are going to be people that look like him. So I am going to say this. Latinos, Asians, and other people, how far? How are you people feeling? Now you can see the reason why they are deporting you. And why deporting you, they brought Afrikaners and gave them citizenship straight up, right? Now, majority of you may not know how dangerous this person is, but this man is very dangerous. And for those that do not know, this man has always been the one behind everything going on, but they just use Agent Orange to be at the forefront why someone is behind him. And now I am going to say JD Vance and JD Vance's wife, how far are you people doing? Because I am sure you all know that JD Vance married an Indian woman because he cannot be exempted at this point in time. Trump so far has been running his mouth and somebody is behind him doing the action. And this is also part of what some people voted for. For those that voted that they are going to have peace, I hope you are having the peace in abundance.
So Stephen Miller only wants white people in America. Are we shocked? The crazy part is everybody knew this man was a white Christian nationalist, and you let him in. He's even more far right and more far white than Donald Trump. Trump even recognized his obsession when it came to immigrants. Stephen Miller said if it was up to him, only 100 million people would be in the country. That is only white people. White people only. Yeah, Project 2025 is looking real fucking real now, ain't it? I wonder who's really running the White House now. Because Trump said that he wasn't going to fuck with farms and hotel workers. But he's in that ass now. And I don't think it was him. For once, I didn't even think it was him. For all you non-white people that voted for Trump, how do you feel now that they're trying to ethnically cleanse us out of the fucking United States? I mean, it's going to be real hard to get rid of black folks because, you know, African Americans in particular, because we ain't got nowhere to go but here. But for everybody else, how the fuck do y'all feel now?
We have some big news right now. According to the Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump previously said that if it was up to Stephen Miller, his White House Deputy Chief of Staff, there would only be 100 million people in the United States of America, and they would all look like Miller. Miller is a white guy. In this new explosive report from the Wall Street Journal, it cites a number of White House colleagues of Miller's who are becoming increasingly alarmed at the legal maneuvers he is taking to conduct mass deportation efforts. And Donald Trump himself, according to the Journal, has even ribbed Miller for being, quote, too happy when deporting undocumented migrants from America. But I want you to read this passage with me. He has the president's complete trust. Trump's complained about everyone, never him. Trump may not complain about Mr. Miller, but he does occasionally poke at his obsession with immigrants, a hostility that goes far beyond Mr. Trump's. In one meeting during the 2024 campaign, Trump said that if it was up to Miller, there would be only 100 million people in this country and they would all look like Miller. This is the man Trump is putting in responsible for most of the policy in America. Spread the word so more people are aware. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for more.
Hear me out, y'all. Now, if we want to make some of these issues just, go away, just hear me out on this plan here. How about we start referring to one of those issues as, President Miller? How long do you think he'll stick around if President Miller was just trending all across this country? I suspect that would get back to someone. He'll get mad. And much like the space guy, he's going to have to go.
You ever wonder what happens when a high school troll grows up and gets access to federal power? You get Stephen Miller. And this man didn't just whisper in Trump's ear. He wrote the whole damn playbook. Stephen Miller isn't just some advisor. He's the author behind Trump's most cruel, racist, and authoritarian politics. And he did it quietly, in a suit, all while pretending that it was about national security. You remember the Muslim ban? That was Miller. Family separation at the border? That was Miller. Trying to strip citizenship from immigrants legally living here? Yep, Miller. He's the reason zero tolerance became a government slogan. The man crafted policy like it was fan fiction for fascists. And you want to talk about connections? Stephen Miller was mentored by Richard Spencer, the actual white nationalist who coined the term alt-right. They went to Duke together, and Miller invited him to campus. Let that sink in. The dude writing U.S. immigration policy was once boosted by a literal neo-Nazi. And don't think he disappeared when Trump left the first time. He started a legal group called America First Legal, designed to sue the government every single time it tried to be decent. Trying to stop DEI programs? That's Miller. Attacking asylum protections? That's Miller. Lawsuits to block civil rights policies under the radar? Also Miller. And the scariest part is that he's not a loudmouth. He's a strategist. He's not tweeting insults. He's writing executive orders. He learned that power isn't about being liked. It's about embedding your ideology so deep within the system that even after you're gone, your fingerprints stay on the walls. Stephen Miller doesn't just advise Trump. He built a machine, one fueled by fear, whiteness, and legal loopholes. And it's still running. It's just a little quieter now. So we all know the bigotry has definitely resurfaced. We can see that in the court dockets, the school bans, and the borders. Stephen Miller never left. He just sharpened his horns and put on a nicer tie.
And here's how you know that Stephen Miller is in charge of the United States government right now. Yep. Stephen, that little man that never got along with anybody in life, had a terrible time from kindergarten through college. And still having a hard time, apparently, keeping track of his bride. Because, Elon is now maybe having a little part of that. She left with Elon to go work with Elon. Left the White House with Elon to go work with Elon. Which I think we really need to be talking about a little bit more. We need to be talking about the Stephen Miller problem. Because I just heard that Taco chickened out once again. We immediately heard that, whoa, we need to wait. We need to watch and maybe not raid these strawberry fields. Right? First of all, Pedro's probably going to outrun any of these Peters that we've been seeing out in the hallways waiting for people. These guys that just got out of the recliner, those guys that are making a big fat 32 large, they're making, apparently, somebody looked up everything, and most of the agents are making like $32,000 a year. Some are making as little as $12 an hour or $16 an hour. It's almost like ICE is taking advantage of the people that have a convicted felon, that they are a felon, whether or not they've been erased or commuted or whatever. They still can't find a job in the USA. So it's almost like ICE is taking advantage of these people and going, hey, I know where you can get a job. We released your asses from jail so that, knowing that you couldn't get a job in the USA, so we're going to hire you up in here. And when Donnie John stands on the airplane and says, yeah, we can't be taking down the hospitality industry and the hotel industry and the grocery industry. No, we can't do that. Well, first of all, it was probably basically all about his hotels. Because how's he going to staff his hotels? How is anybody going to bring pillows to his guests? I mean, he's going to have a lot fewer guests because most people aren't coming to these United States. And Stephen Miller and the unproud Chicos, are they Chicos? I think we really need to talk, what's another name for proud? Because we can't use that. The overinflated self-esteem of the Chicanos. Let's put it that way. We got some overinflated self-esteem boys that are out there wearing their they were wearing their black and yellow so proudly on the No King's Day. And we saw Trump change to black and yellow too, so that he could send a little signal to all of his boys. When he did his Madison Square Garden thing, he changed into black and yellow. He started wearing black and yellow when he was losing big time. And we know that never changed. But I am just shocked. I say shocked. I am shocker on Shock Street that I wake up from my total nausea. I don't know what I've got celiac, and I must have eaten something bad that I did. I was telling my friend Julie, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to throw up all day today. It feels like morning sickness, but God forbid, thank God it's not morning sickness. Oh my God, you young girls. I have to hand it to you. I don't know how you're doing it in the world like this. We did not have our children when the world was like this. Honestly, Okay, I digress. I've got 17 stories going on. I realize I haven't taken my focus. Focus. This is what my brain is like before there's a little chemical that comes around and goes, focus. I went all the way through life to the age of 36 like this. And when I get my daughter diagnosed, I'm like, oh, this explains so much. But I digress. I'm watching a little bit of CNN, reluctantly, only because I'm not going to watch Fox. I don't think I have MSNBC downloaded on this Google TV. But anyway, they're talking about the U.S. is reversing course on limiting immigration raids. Previous guidance pertaining to farms, hotels, and restaurants will now not be paid any fucking attention to. Because if they don't go to farms, hotels, and restaurants, now you got to know, farms, hotels, and restaurants, that's our fucking food. That's where we lay our head. When we have to go to, like, for the parents that are going to out-of-state soccer, we played tournament soccer. So we went fucking everywhere playing soccer. I can't even imagine what it's like trying to check into a hotel room with no staff. Well, in fact, I have a story about that. I was up in Nebraska and had to stay at, and I'm going to say it right here, at the Residence Inn, Lincoln, Nebraska, the most disgustingly dirty hotel I have ever been in my life. And I'm talking even the side of the road hotels that, like, you know, the little old man that owns the place cleans his own potty. Okay. I'm talking, the one weird thing when I got to Lincoln, Nebraska was I wasn't hearing any immigrant voices in the hallway. They were all women that looked like me. And after I fell in the bathtub at the Lincoln Hotel, and I figured if it was a Fairfield Inn, so I figured it was a Marriott brand, at least it would be clean, right? Oh, fuck no, it wasn't clean. And you know what I told the lady when I was leaving? Is that, you know, she was really missing immigrants at her hotel. Maybe if she had immigrants at the hotel, she wouldn't have such a hard time keeping this hotel running. I mean, it was just gross. It was absolutely gross. But I digress. So Taco stands on his big plane yesterday. I mean, I can just imagine him as he begged for that Qatar plane. They didn't offer him that plane. He begged for it. He dragged it back here in the dead of night because he wants to go sit in that airplane after he gets out of the retirement home or the big house and pretend like he's a big man. Because people that need, like, I was married to a couple dudes one of which was very, very, very particular about his car and where he was seen and what his car looked like, etc. And Trump is the same exact way. They want to be seen as having cool things. They want to be seen as having things that are better than other people have. No one's impressed. Mostly just them, basically. But it looks like Stephen Miller, the actual president of the United States, put the whole kibosh on, he's wanting 3,000 immigrants a day. Now, why did he come up with that number, I wonder? Do they feel that the Rockland, New York case is really crawling up their grill? And if they don't get these numbers, then all the overinflated self-esteem men, you know, the proud ones, those guys are going to be fucking pissed, aren't they? And all the people that are pushing for an all-white United States of America, because this has fuck all to do with any sort of crimes or legality. You guys quit being able to say the word illegal the minute you put that fucking piece of shit on the ticket. That piece of shit is the most illegal person we've ever had running for anything. We've never even had anybody running for dog catcher that has that many felonies, convicted felonies. For those of you that actually think that somehow those got wiped away. No, they didn't. They're still sitting there waiting for him to finish his presidency so they can throw him in the shit can. Just so you know. And yeah, Taco chickened out again. Taco Trump. No, he couldn't pull back from all those raids because he's out running shit. Stephen Miller's running the thing. Trump is barely getting on and off the airplanes. Barely. And then he shows up to the G7 and starts talking about Putin. We're so ashamed. Americans are ashamed. And if you're not ashamed, are you really an American? Really? Really? Are you an American?
So Donald Trump allegedly said in a closed-door meeting that if it was up to Stephen Miller, this pouty gentleman right here, there'd only be 100 million people in this country, and they'd all look like Stephen Miller. So wouldn't that be horrible, ladies out there on the dating app, if this was your only option? Also, what is it with the Millers in there in the DC being like horrible human beings? All right, let's go back to his younger days. Younger than when he was painting his hair on national television. Just go bald, guys. Bald is beautiful. All right, let's go back to his younger days. First of all, he grew up in Santa Monica, California. You know, I lived in Culver City, a couple miles away. And one thing I did notice when I would go to Santa Monica, one, it was really nice place, lots of money. It just felt very white to me, very white. But so I noticed that as a white guy, I was like, wow, there's not a lot of diversity up here. But anyways, it was a pretty area in general. Anyways, in high school, there's a video recently came out, you might have seen already, where he's talking to a crowd. He says, am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash? We have plenty of janitors who are paid to do this. So he was an entitled little turd. Now he's an entitled big turd. Well, he's still pretty little, but he's older. He's an older turd now. Now in high school, he did have a friend of Hispanic descent, but he ended that relationship. His name was Jason Islas, and he said when he ended the friendship, he said, the conversation was remarkably calm. He expressed hatred for me in a calm, cool, matter-of-fact way. Now, he also wrote an article at 16 on his local website where he expressed contempt for fellow students of Hispanic origin. He said his school was one where Osama bin Laden would feel very welcome due to the amount of Hispanic students. So then he went off to Duke after he graduated there, where he associated with white nationalist thinkers and groups. He worked with the David Horowitz Freedom Center, which is an anti-Muslim hate group, and was associated with Richard Spencer, a white nationalist leader who coined the term alt-right. Then he ended up in D.C. and slowly worked up his way, and now he has way too much power for such a hateful human being. You know, I think when this is all done and over with and we get back to normal, I hope people remember, like, if you see him out on the streets when he's just somebody who's not next to the president, to give him a difficult time. So if I won the lottery and won all this money, I would do the normal stuff of helping family out, you know, have a couple nice things, helping some other people out. But then I would actually pay people just to be annoying to people like this. I'd have spotters, and then they call people like, all right, here's your job. Go out there and just disrupt his dinner out there in public. And if you get arrested, I'll pay for that too and give you a little bonus for making a scene. That's how I would spend my millions. I would want him to never go outside, just stay in his bedrooms where he can't affect anybody.
Stephen, and I'm certainly not a man of fear. So let's just cut to the chase. Let's not get it twisted. Your administration, this administration, and the people who support it are making history on changing who we are as a multicultural society. Folks like Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, and Pam Bondi and others are showing us that they don't believe in the co-equal branches of government or the checks and balances within our society. And the people in the White House, in your little bubbles, you actually think that the aura of your chaos is sustainable. Think about it. Think about it. I want you to think about it. I mean, Trump is 80 years old, and you are in your mid-40s, and some of y'all are in your mid-50s. Y'all actually think, and that's young in the modern era, you actually think it's funny and entertaining for Fox News and other outlets to show how cruel you are, how incendiary you are to the American people. Oh yeah, let's just stick it to the libs. Okay, but think about the sustainability and all the wrongdoing that you're inflicting on the people. And you think that you're going to get away with this? I mean, in life, you always pay the piper, homie. Our history, or the world history, has shown this time and time and time again. You will not get away with what you're doing. The international community are watching us. Our kids are learning from us as the world look on and discuss. My message is this. Enjoy it now, Stephen Miller, because just as history has shown, a reckoning is coming and America is waking up. Okay? And when they do, look out, partner. Last time I checked, you're definitely not Donald Trump's age. And always remember, truth has no party. Be well.
To really understand Trump's immigration policies and why so many people say the cruelty is the point, you need to know who this is. His name is Stephen Miller. You might have heard of him before. He started with Trump in Trump's first term at age 31, so now he's in his late 30s. He's currently the deputy chief of staff of the White House, but he's known by many to be the architect of Trump's immigration policies. He started the travel bans. He tried to end the DACA program. He is responsible for ending and limiting refugee programs and more. And when someone has that much power in our country, I think it's good to know a little bit more about who they are. Stephen Miller grew up in Santa Santa Monica, which is in Los Angeles. And when he was in high school, he ran for class president. And the platform he ran for class president on is that you should be able to throw your trash on the ground and the janitor should have to pick it up for you. You can see clips from it here in this Washington Post video. But as they say in this video, he was in high school. Maybe he was just trying to be edgy or trying to make a joke or trying to get people to like him or whatever. Should we really be judged for the things that we thought and felt in high school? But at that same time, when he was 16, he wrote to the Santa Monica Lookout, which is a local newspaper. And this is what he said. And tell me why this isn't pretty much verbatim Donald Trump and current Republicans' political platform to a T. I highly encourage you to pause and read this whole thing. I could have highlighted all of it because it is enlightening. He says that he's writing in to speak out against political correctness. Already sounds familiar. He noticed a number of students lacked basic English skills, and there were very few Hispanic and Latino students in his honors classes. He also said that based on a district policy, all announcements are written in...
This is all I got from this video. I am not surprised over what Stephen Miller said, 100 million people, and there are going to be this. You remember, I reported something on the other channel where I think yesterday, I reported that yesterday. You know, they are encouraging women to have more children. And while I was saying that, wait, these people, they already know that their population is right and they want it. So that's why they are encouraging women to have more kids. And so what I said was that you want people to have more kids when the economy is bad. How will they feed the kids? With grass, right? At this point in time, people having two is even more than too much. It's like two is too much at this point in time. Are they expecting people to give birth to 5? And you know, that is like, so they are like so much into wanting to have more kids being brought into the world because, you know, they are looking for successors. This was what I said. But now, seeing this now is not, and you all know Stephen Miller is behind. I think I don't know, somehow he might actually be the one, like, you know, pushing out everything coming out, every damn thing this man is doing. Because so far, I think he has a lot of power. Right? And now coming out to say that left for him, it is going to be only 100 million people and they are all going to, I mean, this is something, I don't think it's new actually. It's something they've been saying, something they've been like, you know, the attitude has always been there, because if you look around the way they treat people, the way they do some certain things, you and I know that there is no excuse, or there is nothing like maybe he's correct, maybe we are insinuating or something. This is not insinuation. It is what they would love to. It's crazy. Stephen Miller is Jewish, and I don't even know how. And his grandfather came to America, you know, to escape the mustache man. But yeah, some people will continue to be who they are, and he is like a very dangerous person, you know, except here in person. Because if you are not self-hating, you won't come out to say some certain things. See, sometimes when people talk about settlers, all these people are the people you are supposed to be looking for a way to send them back to where they came from. Look for a way to send them back where they came from. When you want to talk about settlers, call them. Not looking for a way to call black people something that I do not understand. Trump is Stephen Miller's Pe0ple, I feel, because if you look at some certain thing that has already been going on, you definitely will understand. Trump is just the man at the front. Somebody is behind that front doing some kind of jobs, and he is executing it well. The truth is that a majority of these people that call themselves the owner of the land, or that's to them, they are white, they are the, like, you know, it's their country. I really wish they know the truth, or they know the truth, but they are still looking for a way to take something that does not belong to them. So now I am going to say this, the people of color. I am not saying black people, I mean the POCs, that thought that this man was going to ever consider them, or that they were trying to align with the whiteness, right? How are you people doing? How are you people doing? Knowing fully well that the people you wanted to support do not even want you in their country. These are things people should know. And I am not sure. He's not a Christian because I think his family lineage is Jewish. So you see racism, hate, and racism never stops. And this is one of the reasons why Black people keep screaming, because they know what their eyes have seen. Black people know what their eyes have seen. And when they try to tell you what they have seen so far, listen. Listen. That man is President Miller. Take it from me or leave it. And he's been the one running the show. He's been the one doing everything. President Miller is scary. People do not know it. He's been the one doing everything, right? Whatever that has been going on, or what you are seeing, or what they call front, they are fronting it. I am going to draw my curtain here, because bye for now.